In the distant future, humanity had achieved what many in the past could only dream of. After centuries of technological progress, humans had stretched their reach far beyond Earth, exploring and settling in different star systems. Massive colonies floated among the stars, connected to Earth through a web of communication channels, trade routes, and carefully maintained political alliances. These colonies weren't just settlements, they were symbols of human resilience, curiosity, and the unstoppable drive to explore the unknown. Scientists, engineers, and explorers had worked for decades to develop ships capable of traveling vast distances at speeds once thought impossible. Humanity's expansion was both a testament to ingenuity and a reflection of an insatiable desire to understand the universe. Life in these colonies was a mixture of excitement and struggle. While some colonies thrived with advanced technology, agriculture, and self-sufficient ecosystems, others faced the harsh realities of surviving in alien environments. Every new planet presented challenges: unpredictable weather, strange landscapes, and, most importantly, the unknown. The possibility of encountering alien life was no longer just a theory, it was a constant undercurrent in human consciousness. Explorers were trained not only in science and navigation but also in diplomacy and survival, knowing that at any moment they might meet beings entirely unlike themselves. Among these colonies, one in a remote and largely uncharted sector of space had recently begun sending out faint signals. At first, the signals were subtle, almost like whispers across the void. Scientists and military analysts on Earth studied them carefully, trying to determine their origin. Was it a natural phenomenon, a technical malfunction, or a genuine human call for help? The answer became clearer when one of the signals was identified as a distress messenger, human SOS. It was short, urgent, and desperate. This was no ordinary communication. It was a plea for immediate assistance. The very existence of the message sent ripples of concern through the United Earth Federation, prompting top officials to convene emergency sessions to understand what had happened. The SOS came from a colony ship called the Aurora's Dawn, a vessel that had been exploring the edges of known space. The ship's mission was ambitious. It was meant to study uncharted planets, gather scientific data, and establish potential trade and settlement points for humanity's growing empire. However, somewhere along the way, the mission had gone wrong. The details were scarce, but the distress signal was enough to confirm that the crew of the Aurora's Dawn faced danger that they could not handle alone. The knowledge that fellow humans were in peril stirred a sense of urgency across Earth and its colonies. It was no longer just a matter of exploration, it was about life and death. As news of the SOS spread, humanity's presence in space did not go unnoticed by other civilizations. Observers from alien species had long been monitoring human activity, studying our progress quietly from afar. Some of these civilizations had remained neutral, curious about humans but unwilling to interfere. Others had developed cautious strategies, wary of humans' rapid expansion. The SOS from the Aurora's Dawn caught their attention in an unprecedented way. For the first time, the aliens were witnessing humanity in a situation of vulnerability. What they observed was a species that, despite its technological progress, could face true danger and respond to it with courage and determination. The SOS signaled not just distress, but the potential for humans to act decisively in crisis. The situation created a dual sense of tension and anticipation. On one hand, humans across multiple star systems were anxious, wondering what had happened and how they could help. Families of crew members, military officials, scientists, and ordinary citizens all felt the weight of uncertainty. On the other hand, alien civilizations were trying to interpret the meaning behind the signal. Was it a trap, a test, or a genuine emergency? Their speculations added an invisible layer of pressure, as human actions could now be observed and misinterpreted by intelligent beings who had no shared context. Every decision carried consequences not just for the immediate rescue, but potentially for humanity's reputation in the galaxy. In this tense atmosphere, the United Earth Federation faced a monumental decision: how to respond quickly enough to save the crew without provoking unnecessary conflicts with alien observers. Military commanders debated strategies, engineers calculated fleet readiness, and communications specialists attempted to decode every fragment of the SOS for clues. Time was not on humanity's side. The longer the delay, the more dangerous the situation became for the crew aboard the Aurora's Dawn. And with each passing moment, the alien observers grew more curious, their theories ranging from human bravery to human recklessness. The SOS also highlighted humanity's strengths. Despite the risks, humans had developed the capability to project their power across light years, mobilizing fleets, technology, and intelligence in ways that had previously seemed impossible. The coordination required to mount a rescue mission from Earth to the remote edge of explored space was extraordinary. Ships had to be prepared, routes calculated, supplies readied, and personnel briefed on the unknown threats they might encounter. Every individual involved understood the stakes. Failure was not an option, and the eyes of the entire galaxy were watching. While the humans prepared, life aboard the Aurora's Dawn grew more tense. Crew members worked tirelessly to maintain ship systems, conserve energy, and defend against the subtle but persistent threats of the surrounding space. The crew's training was put to the ultimate test. They were scientists, engineers, and explorers, not soldiers. Yet the SOS indicated that survival required quick thinking, collaboration, and courage under pressure. They faced isolation, the vast emptiness of space, and the ever-present threat of unknown alien forces. This extreme environment forced them to rely on one another in ways they had never imagined, strengthening bonds and testing the limits of human resilience. All the while, Earth and its colonies waited. The faint SOS became more than just a distress call. It became a symbol of hope, of the human spirit confronting uncertainty. Children, scientists, and military strategists alike followed updates closely, feeling a mixture of fear and pride. Humanity was being tested not only by the immediate danger but by the broader implications of its actions. How they responded could set the tone for interstellar relations for decades to come. By the time the first fleet was prepared to respond, the universe around the Aurora's dawn had changed. The SOS had already done something remarkable. It had captured attention across species, systems, and civilizations. Humans and aliens alike were now aware of the fragility, ingenuity, and bravery that defined the species. What started as a simple distress call had ignited curiosity, concern, and perhaps even admiration across the stars. In this way, one SOS became far more than a signal of danger. It became a catalyst for human action, a spark that would set in motion events of extraordinary importance in the galaxy. Then, is not just about a ship in trouble or a distant SOS. It is about humanity's place in the universe, its drive to explore and survive, and its capacity to inspire reactions far beyond its own species. It is a story of courage emerging from uncertainty, of preparation meeting opportunity, and of a small signal across the vast emptiness of space becoming the seed of a saga that would test humanity's limits, ingenuity, and moral compass. In those tense moments, as Earth prepared to send its fleet, every human involved understood that this was no ordinary mission. It was a chance to prove that humanity could face the unknown, not just with technology, but with heart, strategy, and a willingness to stand together in the face of unimaginable challenges. The SOS from the Aurora's dawn was faint, yes, but it carried the weight of an entire species' hope. It reminded everyone that even in the endless expanse of the galaxy, humans were never truly alone because they had the courage to call for help and the determination to answer it. The SOS from the Aurora's dawn triggered immediate action across the United Earth Federation. As soon as the faint distress signal was confirmed to be genuine, a sense of urgency spread like wildfire. Commanders in the space fleets, scientists in research stations, and communication specialists working around the clock all recognized that a human crew was in grave danger, and every second counted. The first step was to understand what exactly had happened to the ship. Data from the SOS was minimal, giving only the barest hint of the crisis. The ship's coordinates, a fragmented message about an unknown threat, and the unmistakable urgency of the call painted a picture of a crew struggling against forces they could not control. It was enough to mobilize a fleet, but the lack of detailed information added a layer of complexity that made planning both critical and risky. The Aurora's dawn was no ordinary ship. Designed as a colony exploration vessel, it carried scientists, engineers, and a small security team. Its mission had been to explore new star systems, gather vital information about planets suitable for colonization, and study any life forms they encountered. The crew was skilled, trained for both exploration and survival, but they were not prepared for the situation they now faced. The SOS suggested that the crew had encountered something unexpected and potentially dangerous, a scenario no training could fully prepare them for. This realization heightened the tension for everyone following the unfolding events. Families of the crew, colleagues, and even casual observers felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on them. Understanding that the margin for error was slim. As the SOS spread through Earth's communication networks, analysts began studying every possible variable. They examined known alien species in the nearby sectors, historical data on hostile encounters, and environmental hazards in the region. Early theories suggested that the Aurora's dawn had crossed paths with the Verethri, a species known for their advanced technology and unpredictable behavior. The Verethri were not openly hostile, but they were highly territorial and had little tolerance for intrusions into their space. Analysts debated whether the SOS indicated an actual confrontation, an environmental threat, or a combination of both. Each theory led to different tactical responses, and the stakes were enormous. Any miscalculation could endanger the crew and escalate tensions with an intelligent alien species that humanity had only observed from afar. The human fleet assembled quickly, a testament to Earth's organizational capabilities and technological advancement. Ships capable of interstellar travel were prepared, equipped with the latest defense systems, long-range communication tools, and emergency supplies. Every detail had to be accounted for. Navigation through potentially hostile territory, maintenance of ship integrity under extreme conditions, and rapid deployment of rescue teams once the Aurora's dawn was located. The fleet's leaders faced immense pressure. knowing that the success of the mission depended not only on their strategic planning but also on their ability to adapt to unforeseen challenges. Every decision mattered, and hesitation could mean disaster. Meanwhile, aboard the Aurora's Dawn, the situation grew increasingly dire. The crew had encountered the Vrethari unexpectedly while investigating a promising new planet. The aliens' approach had been cautious at first, but soon their actions became aggressive, probing the ship's defenses and testing the humans' capabilities. The crew's initial surprise turned into a careful, calculated response. Engineers worked tirelessly to maintain life support and propulsion systems, while scientists monitored alien behavior and attempted to communicate peacefully. Security personnel reinforced critical areas of the ship, aware that any breach could be catastrophic. The crew had to remain calm and work together, even as the tension mounted and the odds against them seemed insurmountable. The SOS, while brief, revealed the crew's awareness of the danger and their trust in Earth's ability to respond. It was a call for help, but also a signal of human determination. The message reached every corner of the colonies, inspiring hope and action. Analysts and strategists worked in shifts, studying every detail of the transmission, trying to anticipate what the Vrethari might do next. Communication teams attempted to establish a direct link with the Aurora's Dawn, though signal delays across light years made real-time coordination nearly impossible. Despite these challenges, the SOS had already achieved something remarkable. It had united humans across multiple star systems with a common goal to save their fellow citizens. Alien observers were also reacting. The faint SOS had been detected by multiple species in nearby star systems. Some were curious, trying to decipher the humans' intentions. Others were wary, interpreting the distress signal as evidence of human vulnerability or, in some cases, as a potential threat. The reactions were unpredictable, adding another layer of complexity to an already tense situation. Humans were not just responding to a rescue mission, they were also being observed and evaluated by civilizations, whose technology and judgment could shape humanity's future interactions in space. The SOS, simple as it seemed, had become a catalyst for interstellar attention and speculation. As the fleet moved closer to the coordinates, every ship faced technical and logistical challenges. Space is vast and unforgiving, and even the fastest vessels had to navigate through asteroid fields, energy anomalies, and unpredictable gravitational forces. Engineers monitored propulsion systems to ensure maximum efficiency while maintaining safety, while navigators plotted courses designed to avoid potential alien detection or hostile encounters. Every second was critical. The closer the fleet got, the higher the stakes became. The sense of urgency on Earth mirrored the anxiety aboard the Aurora's Dawn, creating a shared tension across thousands of light years. The crew's struggle aboard the ship reflected not only the physical dangers they faced but also the psychological strain of isolation and uncertainty. Each crew member had to confront fear and doubt, relying on training, trust in one another, and the hope that Earth's fleet would arrive in time. They improvised solutions to maintain vital systems, rationed energy and supplies, and developed contingency plans in case the Vrethari decided to escalate their aggression. Their actions demonstrated remarkable resilience and adaptability, showing that even in the face of overwhelming uncertainty, humans could confront danger with intelligence, teamwork, and courage. As the human fleet advanced, tension reached its peak. Every observation and action was critical. The SOS had created a chain reaction of events. It prompted a rapid response, engaged human ingenuity at the highest levels, and drew attention from alien civilizations. The stakes were enormous. The fleet's commanders had to balance speed with caution, ensuring that their response did not provoke further danger or miscommunication. The situation demanded precision, coordination, and an unshakable resolve to succeed. Failure was not an option, and the weight of responsibility fell on every individual involved. The SOS also highlighted humanity's unique qualities: resilience, unity, and the willingness to act in the face of uncertainty. While the Aurora's Dawn faced immediate threats, the response from Earth demonstrated humanity's capacity for rapid mobilization, strategic thinking, and technological excellence. The SOS became a symbol of these strengths, inspiring hope and confidence across colonies and in the hearts of those who watched and waited. It showed that even a single message, sent from the edge of the unknown, could catalyze extraordinary action and reveal the very best of human potential. Ultimately, this phase of the story is about the rising challenge, the moment when the problem grows beyond the initial incident, demanding an extraordinary response. The SOS from the Aurora's Dawn was no longer just a distress call. It had become a focal point for human ingenuity, courage, and determination. It forced humans to confront uncertainty, to work together across distances unimaginable in earlier times, and to respond to danger with precision and care. It was a test of both human ability and character, and it set the stage for events that would escalate into a confrontation with forces and circumstances unlike any humans had faced before. The rising challenge of this phase lies in the tension between the crews, vulnerability and humanity's determination to save them. It is a story of anticipation, preparation, and strategic thinking under pressure. It reflects not only the immediate danger faced by the Aurora's dawn but also the broader implications of human action in a galaxy filled with unknown civilizations. Every calculation, every decision, every small act of courage contributed to the larger effort. In this way, the SOS became much more than a call for help. It became a spark that ignited human response, revealing the bravery, intelligence, and resilience that define the species humanity had fully mobilized. The crew aboard the Aurora's dawn remained resilient, and the galaxy had begun to take notice. The stage was set for the next series of events, the escalation and critical moments that would test the limits of human strategy, bravery, and ingenuity in the face of extraordinary danger. The SOS had achieved its purpose. It had initiated a chain of actions that would define humanity's presence in the wider galaxy and demonstrate, even to distant observers, that humans are capable of extraordinary determination and courage when lives are at stake. The situation around the Aurora's dawn had grown increasingly tense. The crew, already fatigued from days of constant vigilance, faced a series of challenges that tested their skills, patience, and courage. Every system on the ship had to be monitored continuously: life support, navigation, energy reserves, and communications, while the unknown threat loomed nearby. The Vrethari, the alien species that had triggered the SOS, had begun showing more assertive behavior. They were no longer merely observing. They were probing the ship's defenses, attempting to test the humans' reactions. For the crew, it was clear that the situation had escalated beyond anything they had trained for. They had entered a critical moment where every decision could have irreversible consequences. On Earth, the fleet that had been dispatched to respond to the SOS was moving as fast as possible through space. The journey was perilous, with countless obstacles along the route. Asteroid fields, radiation storms, and gravitational anomalies posed serious risks to even the most advanced vessels. Engineers and navigators worked tirelessly to adjust flight paths in real time, ensuring the fleet could reach the Aurora's dawn intact. Commanders faced an impossible balancing act: move quickly to save the crew, but also maintain the integrity of the fleet. Any misstep could not only doom the mission but potentially create a diplomatic incident with alien civilizations watching from afar. Aboard the Aurora's dawn, fear and uncertainty were tempered by determination. Crew members knew that they had to survive until the fleet arrived, which meant staying calm under pressure and working as a cohesive unit. Engineers patched temporary fixes to failing systems, while scientists attempted to analyze the Vrethari's movements and intentions. Security personnel reinforced vulnerable areas of the ship, prepared for any direct assault. The crew's ability to stay focused, even when surrounded by danger, became the key factor in their survival. Their training had prepared them for emergencies, but nothing could entirely simulate the intensity of facing an intelligent and unpredictable alien species. The Vrethari's actions were deliberate and strategic. They sent smaller vessels to encircle the Aurora's dawn, scanning the ship, testing defenses, and attempting to intimidate the humans. Each maneuver was calculated to assess the humans' capabilities and reactions. The crew, understanding that panic could be fatal, responded with careful precision. Shields were adjusted to absorb energy readings, emergency protocols were initiated, and communications systems were fortified to prevent interception. Every small action was part of a broader strategy to survive the encounter, while maintaining hope that Earth's fleet would arrive in time. As the human fleet approached, the tension in space increased exponentially. Observers from nearby alien civilizations monitored the situation, interpreting each movement and response. Misunderstandings were inevitable. Some believed that the humans were aggressive, others saw them as vulnerable, and a few speculated that they were capable of unexpected tactics. The uncertainty added pressure on the fleet's commanders. They had to consider not only the safety of the Aurora's dawn crew, but also how their actions would appear to other intelligent species. Every choice had multiple layers of consequences, turning a rescue mission into a complex dance of strategy, timing, and perception. The crew of the Aurora's dawn faced another major challenge. The ship itself was beginning to suffer under prolonged strain. Systems that had functioned perfectly during exploration missions were now pushed to their limits. Life support was under stress due to energy fluctuations. Navigation was complicated by unpredictable gravitational anomalies near the Vrethari's territory, and communications were inconsistent, leaving the crew with only intermittent contact with Earth. Each failure added to the pressure and tested the crew's ingenuity. They improvised solutions, rerouting energy, and making temporary repairs, knowing that failure could be catastrophic. Meanwhile, Earth's fleet was encountering its own escalation. A sudden energy storm disrupted faster-than-light navigation, forcing ships to slow down to avoid damage. Minor malfunctions in propulsion systems required immediate attention from engineers working in high-pressure conditions. Commanders coordinated constantly, adjusting plans and assigning new roles as situations evolved. The fleet's success depended on adaptability, quick thinking, and the ability to respond to unforeseen events. Mirroring the challenges faced by the Aurora's dawn crew, communication delays added another layer of tension. Even with advanced technology, Signals traveled at the speed of light, which meant real-time guidance from Earth to the crew was impossible. The Aurora's dawn had to rely on its own decision-making, using pre-planned protocols and the crew's intuition to navigate danger. The crew's ability to anticipate threats and respond appropriately became crucial, highlighting the importance of human judgment in a situation that technology alone could not solve. The psychological strain on the crew was immense. Fear, isolation, and the constant threat of alien attack weighed heavily. Each individual had to manage personal stress while maintaining the collective morale of the team. Leaders on the ship provided guidance and reassurance, emphasizing the importance of unity and focus. Moments of tension were punctuated by bursts of activity, as the crew worked tirelessly to stabilize systems, monitor alien movements, and plan potential escape routes. The critical moment was not only about the immediate danger from the Vrethery, but also about managing human emotions under extreme conditions. At the same time, the Vrethery's strategy evolved. They began to recognize the humans' resilience and resourcefulness. The alien species adjusted their approach, probing in new ways, testing both the limits of the ship and the humans' reactions. Each encounter became more complex, forcing the crew to think creatively. Tactical maneuvers, rapid repairs, and innovative use of available technology became the norm. The humans' ability to adapt to this evolving threat demonstrated the flexibility and ingenuity that had allowed humanity to expand across the stars. The fleet's arrival introduced a new element to the escalation. As the first ships approached, the Vrethery detected them and responded with increased aggression, sending warning shots and maneuvering to block access to the Aurora's dawn. The tension in space reached its peak. Observers from other civilizations watched anxiously, uncertain whether a peaceful rescue was possible or whether the situation would spiral into full-scale conflict. The critical moment had arrived. The humans had to coordinate their actions precisely, balancing defense, rescue, and diplomacy to avoid catastrophic consequences. The humans' response was a combination of careful planning and improvisation. Rescue teams prepared boarding modules, shields were reinforced, and communication arrays were calibrated to maximize efficiency. Every member of the fleet understood the importance of timing. Too fast could provoke the Vrethery, too slow could endanger the crew. Commanders coordinated strategies that accounted for the unpredictable behavior of both the aliens and the ship's environmental hazards. The level of tension was immense, but the fleet's discipline and training allowed them to navigate this complex situation. On the Aurora's dawn, the crew worked under extreme pressure, balancing immediate survival with strategic thinking. They monitored alien movements, repaired critical systems, and prepared for the arrival of the fleet. Each action was calculated, and mistakes could not be afforded. The combination of external threat, technical challenges, and psychological strain created a scenario that pushed humans to the limits of endurance and ingenuity. The critical moment highlighted not only the dangers of space exploration but also the extraordinary capacity of humans to respond effectively under pressure at this point. The SOS had achieved its purpose. It had alerted Earth to a life-threatening situation, mobilized a fleet, and drawn the attention of alien observers. The rising challenge had escalated into a true test of human courage, strategy, and resilience. The Aurora's dawn crew demonstrated remarkable teamwork and ingenuity. While the fleet navigated a complex and dangerous environment with precision, the stage was set for the resolution of the crisis. But the critical moment was a reminder that survival in the galaxy required both skill and courage, as well as the ability to adapt to unexpected and evolving threats. The events in this phase underscored the stakes of interstellar exploration. Humans faced not only physical and technical challenges but also the psychological and strategic pressures of dealing with intelligent alien species. The Aurora's dawn was a microcosm of human determination, showing that even in the most extreme conditions humans could adapt, persevere, and act with courage. Meanwhile, the fleet's approach demonstrated the ability of humanity to coordinate large-scale efforts across unimaginable distances, highlighting both technological achievement and the capacity for leadership under pressure. The escalation had reached its peak. The humans aboard the ship were holding on against increasing threats. The fleet was on the brink of engaging with the aliens, and the galaxy watched with bated breath. The critical moment had tested every skill, decision, and ounce of courage available to the humans. It was the point at which the story's tension reached its maximum, setting the stage for the resolution. Every decision and action in this phase would determine whether the crew would survive, whether the fleet could succeed, and whether humanity would prove itself capable of navigating not just space but the complex dynamics of interstellar conflict. The situation had reached its most critical point. The Aurora's dawn was surrounded by the Vrethery, and the human fleet was closing in from multiple directions, each ship carefully navigating the dangers of deep space. Every second felt like an eternity. On board the Aurora's dawn, the crew worked with an intensity that left no room for error. Engineers monitored the integrity of the ship's systems, ensuring that shields held and power levels remained stable. Scientists analyzed the Vrethery movements, searching for patterns that could be used to predict their next actions. Security personnel remained vigilant, prepared to defend the ship if the aliens attempted a direct assault. Every person on board understood that the smallest mistake could have devastating consequences, yet they remained focused and determined. Earth's fleet, meanwhile, faced its own set of challenges. The fleet had to move quickly to reach the Aurora's dawn, but they had to be careful not to provoke the Vrethari into unnecessary aggression. The commanders coordinated a series of maneuvers designed to create a secure corridor for the stranded ship, while keeping the aliens at a manageable distance. The fleet's ships communicated constantly, relaying updates on position, energy levels, and potential threats. Engineers worked tirelessly to keep propulsion systems running at maximum efficiency. Navigating through debris fields and gravitational anomalies, the precision required was extraordinary, and the margin for error was minimal. The success of the mission depended on careful planning combined with rapid adaptation to unexpected developments. The Vrethari were intelligent and resourceful. They observed the approaching fleet and adjusted their tactics in real time, sending smaller ships to intercept and block paths while probing for weaknesses in the human strategy. The aliens had not expected such a coordinated response, and their initial confidence was challenged by the humans' resilience. The Aurora's dawn crew, aware of the fleet's proximity, remained calm, using the aliens' adjustments to their advantage. They modified shield patterns, rerouted energy, and prepared emergency escape procedures. The situation was tense, but the crew's ability to anticipate and respond effectively to alien behavior was crucial in keeping them alive. As the fleet drew nearer, the humans executed a coordinated series of maneuvers designed to secure the ship. Rescue pods were prepared for deployment, shields were reinforced, and communication links were optimized for the brief moments when signals could reach the Aurora's dawn. The fleet moved like a single organism, each ship responding to commands while monitoring the aliens' behavior. The Vrethari, though aggressive, were cautious, recognizing that the humans were not merely fleeing but strategically positioning themselves. This gave the humans an opening to begin the rescue operation without triggering open conflict. On the ship, tension remained high. Every member of the crew had a role to play, and mistakes could jeopardize the entire mission. Engineers worked in shifts, patching systems and rerouting power as needed. Scientists provided real-time analysis of alien tactics, predicting movements and suggesting adjustments. Security personnel remained on high alert, ready to respond to any breach or sudden aggression. Morale was maintained through leadership and trust, with commanders reminding everyone that the fleet was close and that the crew had done everything possible to prepare. Despite fear and exhaustion, there was a shared sense of determination that they would survive this ordeal. The humans' careful planning began to show results. Rescue pods were deployed, carrying critical supplies and providing potential evacuation routes for the crew. The Vrethari attempted to disrupt these operations but were countered by precise maneuvers from the fleet and strategic adjustments by the crew. Communication between the fleet and the ship, though limited by distance and interference, allowed for coordinated actions that minimized risk. Every move was calculated, and every decision was the product of extensive training, teamwork, and human ingenuity. The combination of these factors began to turn the tide in favor of the humans. A pivotal moment came when the Vrethari sent a larger contingent of ships to challenge the humans directly. The fleet responded with disciplined precision, using advanced defensive maneuvers to neutralize the threat without escalating the situation into full-scale conflict. The Aurora's dawn crew used this opportunity to stabilize critical systems and prepare for partial evacuation if necessary. The coordination between the fleet and the ship demonstrated humanity's ability to operate effectively under extreme pressure, balancing defensive action with the primary goal of rescue. Realizing that their attempts to intimidate and block the humans were not succeeding, began to reassess their strategy. Their initial aggression gave way to caution as they observed the humans' ability to adapt, coordinate, and respond effectively to threats. The humans' display of both strength and restraint was unusual in their experience, forcing the aliens to reconsider their assumptions. The SOS that had initially sparked fear and confusion had now evolved into a display of human skill, courage, and strategic thinking. The Vrethari recognized that humans were not easily intimidated, and that any confrontation could be costly. The final phase of the rescue operation began as the fleet secured a safe corridor to the Aurora's dawn. Rescue pods were deployed to transfer crew members to larger fleet ships if necessary, while energy shields provided cover from potential attacks. The coordination between the fleet and the ship reached its highest level, with real-time adjustments to account for alien movements and environmental hazards. Every crew member played a role, executing their responsibilities with precision and focus. The combination of preparation, adaptability, and teamwork allowed the humans to navigate the critical moment successfully as the operation continued. The Vrethari gradually withdrew their aggressive actions. Observing the humans' resilience and tactical skill, they began to understand that direct confrontation would not yield the desired results. The fleet maintained a careful balance of defense and restraint, ensuring that the rescue was completed without provoking further escalation. The Aurora's dawn crew, now able to focus on stabilization rather than defense, worked to restore ship systems and prepare for eventual return to Earth. The tension that had dominated previous hours slowly began to ease, replaced by cautious optimism. The humans' success in this phase was not solely due to technology or firepower. It was their ability to coordinate under pressure, anticipate and respond to threats, and maintain composure in the face of uncertainty that proved decisive. Every individual's contribution mattered, from engineers keeping systems operational to scientists analyzing alien behavior, from security personnel ready to defend the ship to commanders orchestrating fleet maneuvers. The rescue operation became a testament to human resilience, ingenuity, and the capacity to act decisively in moments of extreme danger. The immediate danger had been resolved. The Aurora's Dawn crew was safe, the Vrethery had ceased aggressive actions, and the fleet had successfully completed its mission without direct conflict. Humanity had demonstrated not only its technological prowess but also its strategic skill and moral restraint. The SOS that had triggered panic and mobilization had become a story of triumph, showing that careful planning, teamwork, and courage could overcome even the most formidable challenges. The resolution also set a precedent for future interactions with alien civilizations. Observers across the galaxy had witnessed humans responding to danger with intelligence, coordination, and a willingness to balance force with diplomacy. The critical moment had been navigated successfully, providing a clear example of how humanity could handle complex, high-stakes situations in space. It was a turning point not only for the crew and the fleet, but for humanity's reputation in the galaxy. The crew's skill, the fleet's coordination, and the humans' ability to adapt under pressure combined to transform a moment of extreme danger into a successful rescue operation. It highlighted the qualities that define humanity: resilience, ingenuity, courage, and the capacity to work together under the most challenging circumstances. The events of this phase proved that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humans could achieve remarkable outcomes through determination, strategy, and unity. The events surrounding the Aurora's Dawn and the human fleet had finally come to a close, but the impact of what had happened reverberated far beyond the immediate rescue. The crew, once on the edge of disaster, now had a moment to breathe. Yet the experience left deep impressions on everyone involved. As the Aurora's Dawn and the fleet returned to safer territory, the sense of relief was profound, but it was coupled with reflection on what had been faced, what had been learned, and how humanity's presence in the galaxy had been forever altered. The aftermath was a combination of recovery, celebration, and the beginning of broader contemplation about humanity's role among the stars. Back on the ship, the crew dealt with the physical and emotional exhaustion that comes after extreme danger. Days of tension, fear, and relentless work had taken a toll on every individual. Engineers had pushed systems to their limits. Scientists had worked around the clock analyzing the Vrethery, and security personnel had been constantly on alert. For weeks, the crew had operated under conditions that would have tested even the most experienced space travelers. Now, in the relative safety of their ship's controlled environment, they began the slow process of repairing the ship fully and restoring systems to normal function. There were long hours spent checking every subsystem, recalibrating navigation equipment, and ensuring that life support and energy distribution were stable. The crew worked together in a quieter, more methodical rhythm, aware that, though the immediate danger was gone, the consequences of any overlooked detail could still be serious. Psychologically, the crew experienced a mixture of relief and lingering stress. The knowledge that they had survived what seemed like an impossible situation brought a sense of pride, but it also left them reflecting on the thin line between life and death they had navigated. Each crew member had faced fear in its rawest form, yet they had endured because of trust, training, and teamwork. Stories of heroism and ingenuity spread among the crew, moments when a quick decision saved lives, when an improvised repair held the ship together, or when teamwork overcame a seemingly insurmountable challenge. These experiences fostered a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect that would last long after the rescue. The human fleet returning alongside the Aurora's Dawn became a symbol of the Federation's capability and commitment. Fleet commanders, engineers, and crew members had all played essential roles in a mission that demanded extraordinary skill, courage, and coordination. For the humans aboard the fleet, the mission had reinforced the importance of preparation, strategy, and adaptability. Every decision, from navigating through dangerous space phenomena to coordinating with the crew under distress, had been critical. The successful resolution of the crisis became a case study in leadership and tactical planning, demonstrating how humans could operate effectively under pressure and uncertainty. The impact of the rescue extended beyond those immediately involved. Across human colonies and Earth itself, news of the successful mission spread quickly. People followed the story with awe and admiration, recognizing that the mission had tested humans at the limits of their ability and had succeeded because of discipline, intelligence, and courage. The SOS that had initially sparked fear had transformed into a story of hope, resilience, and human ingenuity. Families of the crew rejoiced, not only at the survival of their loved ones but at the demonstration that humanity could rise to extraordinary challenges. Communities celebrated, and the story became part of a broader narrative about humanity's capacity for bravery and resourcefulness. The encounter with the Vrethri also prompted deeper reflection. Humanity had faced a highly intelligent and technologically advanced alien species, and the outcome demonstrated that restraint, strategy, and careful planning could prevent unnecessary conflict. The Vrethri had observed humans acting decisively but without aggression, and this altered their perception of humanity. In a galaxy filled with unknown civilizations, reputation and perception are powerful. The events surrounding the SOS, the fleet, and the rescue mission showed that humans could navigate dangerous encounters intelligently, balancing courage with diplomacy. This realization had long-term implications for humanity's interactions with other civilizations in the galaxy. The crew of the Aurora's Dawn also had time to reflect on their own growth through the ordeal. They had learned the limits of their technology and training, but also the incredible strength of teamwork and ingenuity. Engineers realized how far they could push ship systems under stress. Scientists understood how quickly alien behavior could change and the importance of observation and analysis in real time. Security personnel had discovered the true meaning of vigilance and strategy in a crisis. Each individual had gained experience that could never be replicated in a training simulation. The mission had been more than a survival test, it had been a profound lesson in human resilience and capability. The political and strategic ramifications were equally significant. Earth and its colonies had demonstrated that they could mobilize a fleet across vast distances and coordinate complex operations under extreme pressure. This success reassured other human colonies of their safety and projected a message of competence and strength to the galaxy at large. Meanwhile, alien civilizations observing the events had re-evaluated their assumptions about humans. The initial panic and curiosity sparked by the SOS had evolved into respect and caution. Humans were no longer seen as a vulnerable or naive species. They were capable, intelligent, and willing to act decisively when lives were at stake. For historians and strategists, the mission became a landmark event. The SOS and the subsequent human response were analyzed in detail, not only to improve future rescue operations but to understand the broader implications for human expansion in space. Every maneuver, every decision, and every interaction was studied for lessons in leadership, crisis management, and interstellar diplomacy. The story of the mission was used to train future explorers, scientists, and military personnel. It served as a reminder that space exploration was as much about strategy, courage, and adaptability as it was about technology. The personal impact on the crew could not be understated. Many experienced a renewed appreciation for life, companionship, and the human spirit. They had faced situations where the smallest error could have meant the end, yet they had persevered. Bonds formed under stress were strengthened. Trust became unshakable, and individual courage was celebrated collectively. They shared stories of moments when instinct and quick thinking had saved lives, when collaboration had solved problems that seemed insurmountable, and when hope had carried them through despair. These reflections reinforced a sense of purpose and identity that would influence their work and interactions for years to come. The broader public also drew inspiration. Humans across planets and colonies were reminded of their species' resilience, ingenuity, and unity. Children learned about the crew's courage, fleet coordination, and the strategic response to a crisis, inspiring a new generation of explorers and thinkers. Scientists, engineers, and strategists saw proof that human skill could overcome challenges that seemed impossible. The story of the SOS and the rescue became a symbol of hope, courage, and the belief that even in the vast and unpredictable universe, humanity could face danger with intelligence, skill, and heart. As the Aurora's Dawn and the fleet returned to secure territories, questions arose about the lessons learned. How could human ships better prepare for encounters with intelligent alien species? What strategies and technologies would improve safety and efficiency in future missions? How could humans maintain their moral and ethical standards while navigating the unpredictable dangers of space? These reflections prompted ongoing discussions among political leaders, scientists, and strategists. The SOS had not only saved lives but had sparked a process of learning, adaptation, and preparation for the future. The aftermath of the rescue was as much about reflection as it was about celebration. Humanity had survived a crisis that tested its courage, intelligence, and coordination. The Aurora's Dawn crew had endured the impossible. The fleet had executed a flawless rescue under extreme pressure, and the galaxy had observed humans at their best. The story of the SOS, the fleet, and the critical moments of the mission became a lasting symbol of what humans could achieve when they acted together with focus, determination, and ingenuity. The experience also reshaped humanity's understanding of its role in the galaxy. The events demonstrated that humans could be a responsible, capable, and resilient species in a universe filled with unknowns. Encounters with alien species would always carry risk, but the mission showed that careful planning, courage, and cooperation could turn potential disaster into triumph. Humanity's reputation was strengthened, and the SOS that had sparked panic became a tale of inspiration, proving that a single call for help could lead to extraordinary achievements. Even months after the mission, The crew, fleet personnel, and the broader human population continued to reflect on the experience. They recognized that survival in space was not just about technology but about human courage, collaboration, and the ability to think clearly under pressure. They appreciated the value of preparation, foresight, and adaptability, understanding that these qualities would be critical in future missions. The SOS that had begun as a signal of danger had transformed into a story of resilience, heroism, and the enduring power of humanity to rise above the most challenging circumstances. In conclusion, the aftermath of this extraordinary event was a combination of relief, reflection, celebration, and learning. Humanity had proven its capability to face threats that were both immediate and unpredictable. The crew of the Aurora's Dawn emerged as heroes. The fleet demonstrated the power of coordination and strategy, and humanity as a whole had gained experience and respect in the wider galaxy. The mission underscored the values that define humanity: courage, intelligence, resilience, and the ability to act collectively in moments of extreme pressure. It left a legacy that would inspire generations and serve as a benchmark for human exploration, strategy, and survival in the vast unknown universe. The SOS that had caused panic had ultimately achieved far more than simply summoning help. It became the catalyst for a story of triumph, learning, and the demonstration of what humans were capable of. The galaxy had witnessed humans rise to a challenge with courage, skill, and heart, and the aftermath would continue to shape human thought, exploration, and diplomacy for generations to come.